That's kind of telling us how,
is that maybe the best AD carry in the IWCI?
I think so. I think Kalista and Lucian definitely have shown that. Lucian, if you're a brute force AD carry, Kalista, if you're more of that finesse player, Celebrity showing that his brute force playstyle is quite effective.
I think it's, terrifying, and it's good that they're giving that respect where necessary. And once again, teams, adapting their pick ban strategies, less worried now about international meta, more worried about the individual strengths of their opponents. Poppy now seeing a ban as well on the side of Lyon Gaming. Don't want to give that one over either.
Yeah, so pretty strong picks actually just taken away here from Lyon Gaming. Maybe not the most meta bans, but I agree with the sentiment that you just, at some point, you have to bite the bullet and say, we're not even, whilst we are playing in the current meta, we're playing against this team right now. And this team plays Poppy and Lucian incredibly well, and we don't want to have to deal with that.
Yeah, of course, Graves still up and available. We've seen a lot of priority placed on jungler, although that was not the case for Isurus last game. And we'll have to see if they opt to go for the Graves here on this side. But once again, Maokai remaining the first pick priority, even with Trundle still up and available. I find that very odd.
Yeah, so Maokai kind of can go QSS second item after a Senpai cape and do okay, especially if you go something like an Iceborne Gauntlet. But I do agree, it kind of alters that build path. And we have seen success, especially of support Trundles against Maokais. What that means is you can put something else up in the top lane. Maokai still has to kind of go for the weird itemization, and it's only because of a support pickup. So see whether that is the way it works out. Jinky with actually a Gragas. I think that might actually maybe be Rose pick up in the top lane, but we'll continue to evaluate as the game goes on.
And the luxury Saigon Jokers, I was critical of them in earlier games for their pick ban phase, but now with potentially a double flex, Trundle going sometimes top lane more often than not support these days, and Grags, of course, flexing between the jungle and top lane quite evenly in his picks. Theok, of course, hovering over that signature Evelyn pick. I don't think he's going to get a chance to play.
He really wants it. He
really wants it. He hovers it every time. He did show the Graves, though, so I think that will eventually be the lock-in. But looking over onto the Saigon Jokers, they already have two very strong champions.
Yeah, they certainly do, and they've got, as you said, that flexibility in the two champions, but also the fact that they are kite-back champions means it's a little bit of a different feel so far. I mean, there is some initiation there.
He's playing with my heart, Theok. Flicked back and forth between Evelyn and Graves in a half second. It is, however, going to be the Graves lock-in, and you talked about the champions that can disengage with the Bard, or not with the Bard, with the Gragas, with the Trundle. Well, Bard's pretty good at dealing with that if he does manage to land that Tempered Fate. So Bard was a priority in the first few days for hard random. It was banned out against them. However, not really been popular with any other teams.
It's popular with Supermassive as well. You have to ban that one out against Dumbledore. I think that he's received a couple. But Bard is kind of like...
There aren't enough bans in the world for Dumbledore. I think it's what we're starting to learn.
Yeah, I think Bard is one of those champions that, if you want to win a lane, he will 1v2 a lane for you. You can go Ezreal Bard, and in my opinion, it's still a winning lane against a lot of the lanes just because of how the chimes work and the damage and he has on auto attacks and
one of the strongest level 1s in the game too, and we've seen a lot of teams try to extend those level 1s. If Bard is roaming into your jungle to try to interrupt your jungle pathing, if it's that top lane jungle kind of synergy, you have to be scared because Cosmic Binding, the auto attacks from the Meeps, as a support at level 1, he dishes out so much damage.
And also creates jungle pathing for cool ganks to come in, right? So you also have to play differently as a duo because all of a sudden areas that you would normally push up into are no longer safe because Bard can take people in behind your turrets and do all crazy things, especially if it is an aggressive jungler like a Grave. So I like the pick up here, and it shows that the Lyon Gaming not willing to fall behind in another 2v2 scenario.
Well, looking back over to Saigon Jokers, is they have made their second rotation of picks. Sivir, I believe, maybe not quite 100% pick ban contested anymore, but has, of course, been a huge priority over the course of the tournament. On the Hunt, so powerful. And more interestingly, we are going to see the Gnar coming out here in the top lane. Old school counter to Maokai, not one that's been quite as popular this year, and kind of a hard one to execute on.
Definitely not in the LCS region. Still sees a lot of play in the LPL. It's interesting because the Bruiser item change has helped out Gnar, in my opinion, a lot, and then kind of the meta shifted very far away from him, and people found out how to fight within the windows, right? Like when he's mini Gnar, when he's exhausted, we extended that period. All of a sudden, it's much easier to win these team fights. However, if you ever do get that big Mega Gnar into the crunch, into the wallop,
well,
he has a lot of lockdown CC.
We look at the final compositions here too. You're going up against a Caitlyn and a Nazir, and it may come down to that moment, to that one crucial Gnar ultimate, because I mean, this is something I think Monty first said when Gnar was getting popular in Korea, but late game, it doesn't matter. Gnar hits 5 people, then you win the game. So however late you go, Gnar can always single-handedly win you a team fight, and Lyon Gaming are going to have to respect that.
Yeah, and I 100% echo that sentiment, especially if it has something like a LeBlanc and a Sivir in the team composition that are just going to waste an AoE team fight.
Oh, a TF actually going to be the final swap over. This is a really interesting choice. TF, Sivir, not normally a pairing we see together, but going to be brought out here by the Saigon Jokers. Maybe a comfort pick here into the Azir match.
So they have a great 1-3-1. Gnar is going to win a split push battle. He's going to go Black Cleaver. He's going to go into something like Sterix, and he's going to have a lot of pressure to put down onto the Maokai. All of a sudden, you have Twisted Fate. He's going to go into the bottom lane. Maybe answered by a Graves, but most likely not. And then Sivir has great straight line wave clear for an 80 carry. Gragas helps out with that, especially if you go with Runic Echoes, and then disengage out of Trundle. It's very, very hard to dive that trio. So what I actually like about Saigon Jokers right now is that they can spread out the map a lot, and then they have fantastic mobility if you do rotate and get caught out, to be able to like just dive onto one member and blow them up.
And we've seen how proficient Saigon Jokers are once they can find those fights, and they have all the tools to find them now with that TF. Gnar, I think, a little bit harder to coordinate around, but once again, can be so amazingly powerful. And even in mini Gnar, his chase potential is so great if they do have the man advantage. And a fight on the other side, though, Azir, Caitlyn, so much zone control, so much team fight potential. Those traps, I hate new Caitlyn traps. I cannot stand them. But
you get put in prison, like, around turrets.
Yeah,
like,
you're just done.
Yeah, 100%. And, like, it's so funny watching tanks think they can step on them as well. But armor penetration, of course, on headshot now, like, just walk in and she just starts chunking out everyone. I echo a similar sentiment of dislike towards it. However, it's something that Cloud9 showed us at Worlds. Like, Azir, Caitlyn, Azir, long range, like, Veigar or Azir, like, the 2 control mages, long range, 80 carry. Siege comp, very, very real potential of being able to shove down structures early in the game. So look for a lane swap, then look for them to get into mid lane as quickly as possible, and just trying to push through and take the big structures on the map.
And Lyon Gaming starting to kind of go back to their roots of their first game in this tower, as we talked about that Jhin Varus composition. Yep. Caitlyn very similar. She can poke, she can siege very well. Azir poking, sieging very well. Now, it's not going to have the same level of power at the same stage of the game. It's very different, but the core, I feel like, of that pushing identity is still very much there for this composition.
Yeah, I agree with the sentiment there as well. And the other thing that you have to, I guess, keep an eye on is the fact that they have really good sustained damage in both of those compositions. So it kind of has the same setup, but then once you get to the team fighting phase, if you can keep people at bay, if you can keep people out of your face, you're going to do a heck of a lot of damage.
Yeah, of course, here we are, ladies and gentlemen, in the final game of the day. Lions Gaming moving out of the base, setting up a little bit of vision, trading back and forth here with their opponents on the red side, the Saigon Jokers, which are all just going to back out, looking like a relatively safe start overall as the junglers meet traditionally in the pixel brush on the top side.
And so we'll have to watch whether standard lanes do get initiated here. Looks like a lane swap on the side of Lyon. We already saw that Gnar bumped into Maokai and was able to chunk him out a lot at level 1. That will continue throughout the latter stages of the game. So it looks like successful lane swap achieved. And Lyon Gaming not going to get bullied in a similar fashion to as what they were earlier in the day.
And they also obviously have the Graves pick here for Theox. We're going to have to see what he can do with this as an option. Also, once again, our eyes have to be on the bottom lane. Seiya has this poke pick. They have this Bard for playmaking potential, but they are going up against what we are calling one of the strongest bot lanes, if not the strongest bot lane here in the IWCI. Maybe not the strongest support, but this duo is absolutely incredible when it comes to fighting 2v2.
Yeah, I completely agree. And see whether they're able to utilize that to get themselves an advantage. Jurel heading down here. He's a little bit... So the thing about Maokai, because you take saplings at level 1, you're a little bit prone of being engaged onto. So you see that he just throws it and runs away straight away. Like, he's terrified, but actually sticking around at the turret as a hard push comes in. No, he will leave. Okay, good. I was going to say, I'm waiting for someone to try and replicate the AP Nasus theory with Maokai. Just take like a couple of points into your saplings and just sit in the lane and just throw. He's doing it. So just throw trees at the creep wave. Try and thin it out.
Yep. Catch what you can.
Yep.
The poke damage not going to be too relevant, but picking up farm, picking up experience, and that's really all you can expect in these lane swap scenarios. Trundle getting a little passive-aggressive there with the pillar, or full-on aggressive in this case, and not going to get anything in that exchange.
So this is interesting. If he goes down there and gets dove, I'm going to say that this is a very poor decision. He hasn't got any vision right now. of what is a Mega Knight, like, strolling towards his turret. However, if he doesn't get dove and killed, and instead he's just thinned the wave a little bit and grabbed himself, what, an extra 4 creep score? 100% worthwhile.
Yeah, and he is backing off here, so maybe, you know, has the foresight to know that he will get doven out as the Gnar, the Sivir, and the Trundle start to set their sights on this tower. Gragas moving in as well, just 100% making sure that there is no hope for this Maokai to contest here. Meanwhile, on the top side, seeing this mirrored by Lyon Gaming, although the Gnar, a little bit less CS, so small advantage to the Maokai, as you said.
Yeah, completely advantage to the Maokai, and he's going to go back and now pick himself up a pink one. He's going to walk into that standard lane one more time. And, I was going to say Lyon Gaming actually had enough to probably continue to push through on the top lane turret, but they're not going to. They're going to let the creeps die and reset what looks to be towards pretty standard lanes.
Not sure. Looks like Caitlyn's actually going to take that farm, push that lane out. Yep. Not wanting to give that one over to the top lane. Maokai not even looking to be on the way quite yet. Duo clear with the Bard. This is a little bit different, but more than happy to just give Caitlyn as much solo experience as possible. A lot of faith being put into Seiya as a lot of resources are being funneled into him at this stage of the game.
Yeah, and we'll see whether they revisit up there, as now Jinky in a little bit of trouble, has been spotted out.
Oh, could be in trouble here. Graves dishing out a lot of damage. Trundle looking for the disengage with the pillar, and they're going to continue the fight here. Bard not committing with the Cosmic Binding quite yet, but here comes Sivir as well. Exhaust coming out, TP as well. Saigon Jokers are ready for a fight. Are they going to find the engage? The flash over the traps. Celebrity doesn't have that luxury, but he will just sidestep and road jumping over the wall, trying to find a kill here. But every member is still healthy. No, Bard may have brought the team, but first blood, I'm actually losing track of this team fight. The double kill goes over to Sivir. In the end, the Bard will drop as well. 3 kills over to Saigon Jokers. Absolutely massive. They're not done yet. They're trying to turn something back. Maokai may grab a kill for himself. Celebrity and Jinky have to back up, but the Azir is zoned out.
They're on the wrong side of the map. They are not back towards their base. Celebrity is waiting for Leviti to come in one more time.
Here comes the gold card. The Azir could be in trouble. Celebrity could look to turn here. Will start to run out, though. Are they actually going to back off? The Azir tower going to save his life. They're just looking for a safe place to retreat, and they may find it. Celebrity has the blue buff, now has a full mana pool. Just about, but at the end of the day, that was an absolutely bloody exchange. 2 for 3 overall and a small gold lead over the Saigon Jokers.
Yeah, so Saigon Jokers also get gold onto their AD carry. You can see 2-0-1 goes back, grabs himself a cult. It is going to be a BF sword, however, picked up by Seiya. So you feel like he will continue to shove down these structures. So successful in getting the lane swap. That was a ballsy move from Saigon to fight, because they had to actually teleport row up, and that had the window for a lot of things to go wrong. But once again, they put themselves in a situation that no other team would, but then they out-execute the other squad.
Yep, brave strategy, bold execution, and it works out for them. Lions Gaming, you know, doing pretty well with the pressure and the advantage that they have in the form of that BF sword on Caitlyn. Now setting their sights on the Dragon. Caitlyn setting her sights on the bottom tower, but Gragas and Gnar should be more than enough to defend this one, at least this early in the game.
So we'll see whether they put any further of a collapse in. That's a lot of mana gone from the Bard. Needs to go get some chimes for himself, get that stacking back up.
Refillable potion as well, I find not what we usually see on supports in the early game, but I guess could be cost efficient here for him.
Yeah, so like it depends how many shops he gets in right before he has to sell it. So if he gets 3 shops in, completely cost efficient when you sell that one back. So something that I experimented a little bit with. You can't get it as your first item. Like, definitely can't be starting item. You need the 3 potions, but after your first shop, especially if you feel like you're going to be trading a lot, it's something you can pick up. And wow, he's back at it.
Chiral once again getting aggressive here to stay under this tower. Only 2 members here on the top side, as they did spot Gragas just earlier, although Gragas now moving over. Chiral once again getting his cheeky to get as much farm, but he is behind the Gnar now, 11 to 20. Gnar looks like he has to concede this tower, as Seiya just does far too much damage to this turret. May not be able to take it on this wave quite yet, but Celebrity is going to grab this one on the top side, almost guaranteed, as Maokai is backing off here.
Yeah, so finally, both top laners just back away, give up, I guess, the impossible defenses.
End of the day, though, turret trade's even. It's 2-2 in the turret score, and despite Lyon Gaming getting that dragon, they're still going to be 1K behind, only 7 minutes into the game. On the back of that, aggressive teamfight execution coming in from the Saigon Jokers just earlier.
And that's what we expect. Like, aggression is the name of the game right now. Goes back, grabs himself a Sheen as well in the mid lane for Labita, so he's going to look to make the plays. And this is something that, once again, we see a lot in the LCK region, but against Azir, pick something that is either double teleport or something like a Twist of Fate, open up the map in this regard, and then make the plays where where Azir isn't, because it's very hard to push into him. However, the problem is you feel like Lyon Gaming is probably going to now go into Azir's lane, help shove it up, and try and use Caitlyn Azir to chip down Twisted Fate's turret. So,
and Twisted Fate could be in trouble. Stun card coming out, but Azir's hungry for blood. He's going to have to flash to safety on that one, but Jinky's ready for a fight. The cast kicking him back into the team, and Theok overstayed his welcome as Ro's going to grab that one. Trundle with a quick bite onto the Bard to warn him to stay out of this one, and at the end of the day, a 1-for-0 for Saigon Jokers.
And no flash expended there out of Theok. He didn't have the reaction speed to be able to get it down before he got knocked back into the team with Cask. And I guess that's the difference between a level 5 jungler and a level 6, as Jinky comes up absolutely massive.
Yeah, the reaction speed changes greatly at level 6, I've heard.
Definitely.
Celebrity now pushing in on the bottom side. And I mean, great execution once again for Saigon Jokers. They turn a potentially losing situation into a win for them because, you know, Jinky is exactly where he needs to be. I blanked on his name for a second. I was going to call him Jockey. I didn't want to do that.
That would have been great. I think we should call him Jockey from now on. I got you back.
Seiya now continuing the trend of pushing forward. That's that damage you were talking about. Trundle's not even going to block it. Oh, what a mistake. And the kill goes over to Lyon Gaming.
What a huge play out of Seiya. We've been talking him up all tournament long. He's had some rough games, but showing that the mechanics definitely on point with this Caitlyn. And now they march in. They're going to be able to chip out the mid lane turret. Celebrity trying to come here to get a little bit of a defense.
On the hunt burn. They're ready for another fight. Jinky, no flash body slam quite yet, but there's the Gnar on the backside. Seiya not going to get smacked into the wall. Great flash to make it to safety, but not enough. Wallop comes in. The house going to get dropped. Gnar going to be pushed out on the back half, but the fight keeps going. Bard trying to make it to safety. Emperor's Divide going to slow the advance of the enemy team, but here comes the Destiny, and it's Bard's fate to die as Saigon Jokers pick up yet another kill.
Yeah, so once again, it's a 2-for-2 trade. But Saigon Jokers, like, over the extended period, but Saigon Jokers lost their mid laner at the start of it, like, before any of it even happened. So he flies back in, cleans it up. Aggressive play out of Celebrity to ensure that mid lane turret survived. They didn't have the wave clear. They're all very, very short range, so they don't want to challenge Caitlyn in that regard. But Caitlyn's still in the item power trough until she gets towards the 2-3 item mark, and Siva able to utilize that utility in her kit to take her down.
And this is absolutely crazy from both sides because I feel like the game has been accelerated so much. Caitlyn taking down all these early turrets has forced the game to the next stage. TF is already in a different lane, pushing out, already moving into that 1-3-1. We're 10 minutes in.
Yeah, exactly right. You know, that's what Caitlyn wanted to be able to do at the start of this game because she wants to skip the laning phase as much as possible. However, if they're able to continually...
Oh, could look for another opportunity here. Cosmic Binding's going to land. Nothing
if they're able
yet.
to continue to hard engage in this mid lane onto what is a siege comp, that's always been the counter to siege, is that hard engage. It will be good news for the Saigon Jokers.
And of course, the Gnar was a big question mark in the picks and bans, but Ro, you know, with good rage management and a good flank in the last of that fight, Caitlyn did have to flash the ultimate, but at the end of the day, it still meant the kill. And Ro appears to know what he's doing here. Very important to be a master of that rage management to make the most out of the Gnar pick.
Yeah, completely agree. And you're going to see that he starts split pushing a little bit quicker than what Jirul does as well as this game progresses. So probably more inherent map pressure going to come out of the Gnar as he goes towards what is a Black Cleaver versus something that will be like a Frozen Heart or an Iceborne Gauntlet.
Magical Journey. Oh, they're both going to take this one. Although I'm not sure if he's actually going to be able to catch the Bard. It's kind of like chasing a Singe, a little bit less damage, equally fruitless.
Yeah. Still very frustrating.
One of those things you just never want to do. The Magical Journey is really never magical if you're the one chasing the Bard.
No, definitely not. Conceptually, though, Bard's really cool. I like that, dude.
Very interesting champion. Very much, as you said, changes the way you play the game. Whether it's in laning phase where he opens up different gank paths, whether it's respecting the Tempered Fate, or, you know, locking turrets out of fights when you want to make a dive. But, you know, very interesting mechanics on the champion, and, you know, played very well so far. Oh no, but that's not what you want to do. That time the Magical Journey was very magical for the Saigon Jokers, as they're going to grab the support for free. Maybe the Maokai instead. Bard making it to safety, but the Sacrificial Lamb or Sacrificial Tree, in this case, goes down. Bard dropping as well. Theok next on the list. Saigon Jokers absolutely dominating, and Lyon Gaming losing hope, but here comes Seiya, the carry that they needed. Will get the boomerang to snag the kill. End of the day, it's still the 1-for-3, though, as Saigon Jokers push it up to a 4K gold lead.
They look dominant, and once again, it's the decisiveness out of the Saigon Jokers. Sure, Bard face checks that brush with a Magical Journey, but straight away they pull the trigger and continue to dive deep. Levita's Twisted Fate has looked pretty good this game. I think it is starting to take over the tournament. 3-1-4 now.
And the thing that I absolutely love from his Twisted Fate is that he's not using Destiny to get into the fight. He is moving where he needs to be ahead of time, and then when someone gets away, when someone escapes and they're low, he's able to follow up on the initial fight with that Destiny. And now Saigon Jokers are able to follow up with, on top of all their other advantages, with their first Dragon of the game.
And it always looks like he's a little further than he needs to be, but that's because he wants to cut off escape routes and make sure that people aren't able to get out of him. The most frustrating feeling is when you teleport on top of someone and then like the gate,
walk away.
Yeah, then they just walk away.
Oh, I'm okay.
Yeah. So,
of course.
Very nice use, showing he's a master of that and has got a very similar build to what Swiffer did. 20% cooldown reduction already means that Destiny up all that more often.
Interesting, of course, once again, we're seeing priority on the Runaan's Hurricane for these more mid-late scaling 80 carries. We saw it on the Jinx from INTZ, now seeing it on the Caitlyn from Seiya.
Yeah, so generally you get flat AD out of something like a BF and a pickaxe. This time it's just a BF. Then you go into your Hurricane or your Zeal item, whatever it so shall be. Would also be interested to see whether he goes Rapid Fire Cannon after it. Build that we see a little bit more popular, or whether he does go towards the Last Whisper item, as I believe we saw the Jinx do in the INTZ game.
Yeah, very early Last Whispers. We've seen it a couple times. On the Varus in the mid lane in the last game. Diaco getting aggressive here. Not going to find an opportunity to go in. It looks like they got their sights on this tower as 5 members of Lyon Gaming's collapsed. TF still in the bottom lane. They're trying to disengage. They are going to force that creep wave out and stop the pressure coming in from Lions Gaming.
But one more time, we go towards a 1-3-1 with both teleports available. And they're just trying to wave clear in this mid lane. I said that Gragas is going to be able to help out. That time it was with his barrel, but probably should have just been... Yep, here we go. So this is all you expect out of them. Try and hold and allow the 1-3-1 to take effect. Although now, nah, starting to collapse.
Yeah, coming in, but he does not have any rage here. He's only going to have the Boomerang to poke out, picking it up again. Not going to be able to commit onto this one quite yet, but Lions Gaming still not grabbing the tower as TF continues to face Maokai on the bottom side of the map. Engage on the hunt. Here comes Theok, or here comes Sivir rather, as Theok's going to get burned down. Destiny coming in as well. Maokai hoping to cancel this one out. Looks like he's been successful so far to interrupt it, but it may cost him his own life. The TF is just too strong. No, maybe we'll turn this one around. Lots of damage going on down onto the TF, and the Maokai just too tanky at this stage of the game, but an absolute bloodbath here in the mid lane as Graves goes down. Gnar hungry for blood though. Instant ult, the Tempered Fate too late to save the day, and the Critiche more than enough to pick up the Bard on the back half.
And the Saigon Jokers look unstoppable right now. They're 5,000 gold up in 15 minutes. Unfortunate news for Lions Gaming is that they've run into 2 of these weird split push comps in the same day, and they still don't have an answer for it.
Yeah, much too used to grouping up, trying to force down towers, trying to siege, but at the end of the day, the 1-3-1 is just too much for them, especially against nearly every member of the team being fed. But Shurima Shuffle trying to turn this one around for them. Azir now going in. Yuri trying to put out some damage here, and Theok going to grab that kill for himself. A small reprieve for Lions Gaming.
Yeah, it certainly is, but they probably needed it to go over onto Yuri because realistically, the only way this game turns on its head is if Azir gets incredibly fed and picks up a team fight that they're looking for. Teleport also burnt out of Gerald to try and get into the top, that little skirmish that was happening, but not going to be, so he cancelled. Small window now where Ro can make a play and the Maokai cannot.
Ping's coming down on this mid lane once again. They are not giving up this tower for free. There comes the cask. Yuri, once again in trouble, is going to get stunned up. The cleanse is available, but the Gragas just does too much damage. Making it to safety, but there's a Gnar on the backside. They're not letting anyone get away. No survivors, says the side of Saigon Jokers. Another double kill picked up, this time for the Gnar.
And in 6-2-4. What a monstrous Gnar right now. And we mentioned it, you know, there's a window where they can make a play and Maokai cannot respond. All of a sudden, teleport comes out, nice and deep one more time for Road, cutting off that retreat. And Saigon Jokers are unrelenting. 8,000 gold now.
These guys never give you the chance to breathe, I feel like. This Gnar, he's never here at the start of fights. He always comes in on the side, and he's always picking up these kills. And whether he's the cleanup crew or he's the initiator, as he was in that tower dive on Seiya earlier, he just does so well for himself. The man, I doubted the Gnar pick, I'll be honest, but he is absolutely making it work.
Yeah, certainly is. 10 out of 14 kill contribution as well. Phantom Dancer picked up by Celebrity. They're just hitting their stride like across the board right now. Caitlin's still in her trough. And I don't know if Lions Gaming have enough time left to get themselves out of it.
And more importantly, Lions Gaming not really adapting their game plan whatsoever. Push out the mid lane, group is 5, hope for a team fight, but I don't know how much longer it's going to work for them. They're getting little bits of damage, but they still have yet to get the mid lane tower, and it's just going to get more and more difficult. The TF, a needlessly large rod added in addition to the Aether Wisp and the Lich Bane. So that guy, not only fast, but dishing out tons of damage.
Going for a Luden's Echo. What the heck?
Speedy TF, man. Wants to make it to the fights.
He's going to be quick, that's for sure. He also deals handily right now with this Maokai, so they have to rotate him out of the lane.
We haven't touched on this in a bit, but that is the 8K gold lead coming in for Saigon Jokers, and we knew they were dominating, and that's an excellent number to support that because they're just so far ahead in terms of itemization.
And when your Twist of Fate is 30 CS up, I mean, he already has stack deck. Sorry. Loaded
moving in, though. Here comes the power of that Bard, changing the way the game is played. The TF, though, mixing it up on his own. Gold card still available, may disappear in just a moment. And, ooh, Lions Gaming hungry for blood. The Caitlyn coming in as well, looking for the Destiny, potentially looking for the option to get out, but he's just going to be stunned for far too long as Sia picks that one up.
So they're able to get a shutdown, but what do they actually pick up across the map here? All of a sudden, Saigon Jokers, they rotate into the mid lane turret.
Oh, Jinky knocking him
it
back in. Emperor's Divide going to keep him safe as Yuri manages to disengage, but the tower still dropping in the favor of Saigon Jokers.
Jinky, wow, able to just start another clutch engage. Gets out the ultimate this time out of the mid lane, nearly cost him his life, but they do get the turret for it in the mid lane. So once again, not a worthwhile trade. Actually lengthens the gold lead between these two teams as they overcommit onto the Twist of Fate, and it may pay.
Setting their sights on Dragons, and we have to give praise to Jinky. We've been very questioning of the priority placed on Gragas by a lot of teams. Saigon Jokers are no exception. We're surprised that they prioritized this over an aggressive jungler, but Jinky makes it work.
He plays it like an aggressive jungler is a different. He's able to get in and affect the team fights with the ultimate, whereas I think we've seen far too much reaction replay. If you have CC in your kit as a jungler, you have like an obligation to your team to get into the lanes and try and shut carries down. It's exactly what he's done this time around.
Exactly. Of course, Azir only 0, 1, and 3, but Seiya, despite being potentially one of the all-star players for this team, 4, 3, and 1, getting picked out left and right by jungler, by top laner, mid laner. The man cannot get a break this game. Really struggling, as well as jungler Theok, despite getting a more powerful pick in the form of Graves.
Yeah, Theok's the one that's really struggling to me. I mean, Seiya is trying to make plays as Caitlyn and therefore putting himself in dangerous situations. However, has picked up a 2-item spike for himself. Still pretty much nearly a full item behind as Infinity Edge is about to be picked up. Wow, that's 2,000 gold just between the AD carries.
That's absolutely insane. That's 3,000 between the mid laners. Oh,
and
3 in top?
Yeah.
Oh, well, there's the entirety of the gold, 10K gold difference between these teams, or just about the other 2K divvy between jungler. Azir building another turret just so that Saigon Jokers can break it down, and things are looking very grim for Lions Gaming.
And once again, the plan seems to be like collapse onto Twisted Fate. They just don't know if it's going to work.
Stun card, walk away. No kill pressure onto that guy. He's just a little bit too fast.
Maybe I should have phrased that better. I just don't think it's going to work. I know that it's not going to work, so yeah, they're putting so much priority into trying to get into Levita's lane. I guess gank the teleport is one of the oldest adages of League of Legends, but they're taking it to a new level.
Yeah, not burn everything on the teleport,
yeah.
I think. And unfortunately, as you said, Ro continuing to remain a massive split-pushing threat as he pushes forward here onto this lane. And all Jarl can really do at this stage of the game, so far behind, is clear out these waves and hope that Gnar cannot dive him.
Yep, and hope that they don't start up the Baron as well with all the superior vision control that they're able to pick up. Arce now in a little bit of trouble. Twisted Fate ulti, potentially.
The Gragas, that could be the aggressive cask initiation, but Ro is hoping to make an impact here. Oh, Theok, no flash to safety. Destiny coming in on the backside, and Jinky grabbing another kill for the team. Next up, Inhibitor Tower in favor of Saigon Jokers. Looks like Lions Gaming not quite in a position to contest this one. They are eventually going to have to back off on Saigon's side. Nope, gonna grab it anyway.
And you said Twisted Fate was going to be quick, but Levita is flying around right now as they go in from potentially a fight.
This is not a fight that they want, though, and they are going to have to back off. The Inhibitor, an extra prize for the Saigon Jokers, and Lions Gaming left with nothing in that exchange. 12K gold lead, 22 minutes in. Saigon Jokers, they've fallen flat once or twice, but this is the domination we expected from them at the start of the tournament.
Yeah, it certainly is, and they're going to go back and grab huge item spikes for themselves. I mean, as soon as Celebrity goes back to that base, he's probably got himself an Infinity Edge. Another needlessly large rod picked up as well. Nah hasn't been back to shop in quite some time, and it's just the scary, like, it's getting worse and worse as the game goes on. Like, there is no end line in sight. We're only 22 minutes in. Gold is not going to be irrelevant for a very long time.
And the difference here is that in that first play, it was confidence and execution from Saigon Jokers, and now it's just a gold lead. Even if they make mistakes, even if they screw up and one member's caught out, they honestly might just be able to 4v5 a team fight at this stage, depending on who goes down, because every single member is so far ahead of the opposition. This Trundle coming in already has lock into the Iron Solaria, the jungler as well, double shields coming out, diminishing returns, but still so much additional power.
Yeah, 100%, and they're kind of fighting on two fronts anyway at the moment, so they definitely will be worthwhile.
Oh, no. Oh, Seiya, this is not what you wanted, my friend, and unfortunately, I think it's what you're going to get. No flash available, stun card going to land, and that TF just does too much damage. Saigon Jokers, another kill in their disposal.
Yeah, completely destroying the AD carry. And we mentioned that was kind of the shining hope of the team composition. So the two-man unit that we mentioned, as well as this three-man, going for it.
They're looking for it on the hunt, going to be burned, but Jaral is there in the back line. There's the setup from the Bard, the TP coming in as well on the side of Saigon Jokers. The cast to try to disengage. Here's the Twisted Fate. There goes the tree. Gnar getting pushed back, and the portal going to take them to safety. Bard getting dropped, 3 getting dropped, Levita doing so much damage. The double kill for Sivir. This could even be the game for the Saigon Jokers as they look to push in for the win.
Yeah, it certainly looks to be the case, and what a whitewash. Complete shutout. Saigon going early, but Saigon Jokers respond, and they will end out the game for day 4-1.
Matching up with Hard Random in the end and performing in an absolutely dominating fashion. Seiya hoping to get a few return kills, but it's not going to be enough. It's too little too late. 7-19, the final kill score. And after one team fight in the early game, Saigon Jokers do not miss a single beat, crushing at every turn in that game.
Yeah, and crunching, and the Gnar came up massive. Like, I just can't believe that they went. It's such an oddball pick, but something that we've seen historically against Maokai, and was able to just dominate across the board.
It was, I mean, insane. Not only the Gnar, the aggressive Gragas play, we talked about it a little bit, but consistently initiating fights. I mean, it felt like every single explosive cask did its job. Disengaging, engaging, looking for fights, looking for picks, the Twisted Fate, flawless destinies in every fight. I mean, quite frankly, Lyon Gaming just looked outclassed. And it's unfortunate for them because this has been a rough road, and Saigon Jokers, despite 1 week performance, a rough pick ban, just crushing the competition.
Yeah, I feel like Yuri's going to go to bed and have nightmares about Twisted Fate. Like,
yeah.
It's just not been a good day for him against that champion. But honestly, like, that was, you watch what the Chiefs did, and you're like, wow, that was, like, convincing. I think it was a 32-minute victory. Yeah. And then, like, Saigon Jokers were like, yeah,
all right,
we can
try that.
Yeah.
I guess we can try our hand. For me, the Chiefs played slow. The Chiefs played steady. They found an advantage. They transitioned it. Saigon Jokers were like, oh no, you're going to bleed. Like, we're going to fight, and we're going to keep fighting, and you're going to lose. And that's just how it's going to be. And unfortunately, Lyon Gaming maybe thought they had a few opportunities to take it back, but Saigon Jokers punished them at every turn, and it was just, they got decimated. That's the kind of game where I just walk away from my computer for a couple days because that is crushing.
Yeah, 100%. And I agree with the sentiment in the fact that, you know, every single time they even looked to make a proactive play, like they were trying to siege down mid, every cask was on point. Great flanks coming out of Gnar. In Mega Gnar farm already, there's not even a window to outplay that. Seiya's burning flash, trying to get over walls. And the whole team is just unrelenting, I mean, with the Sivir ultimate. So you could see that they were trying Lyon Gaming. They had a game plan. They were trying to execute on it. The Saigon Jokers just weren't impressed enough by it, I guess. They just didn't play by the same rules.
Yeah, completely different rules, I would say. I mean, this team so aggressive, so strong, and, you know, moving up to be tied with first place alongside Hard Random. So very good performances from them. And whatever doubts I had were, I mean, admittedly, Lyon Gaming a little bit lower down, but doubts are starting to be crushed for me on the side. I'm starting to think that Saigon Jokers are looking like one of the top teams at this tournament and could go toe-to-toe with Supermassive.
Yeah, I completely agree. So right now we have Supermassive, Hard Random, and as well as the Saigon Jokers, and they pretty much are going, like, they just need to win one more game each tomorrow. And book punch their tickets into that playoff race. On the other side of it, however, you have INTZ, you have the Chiefs, you have Isurus as well, although they lost last game, so they're 2-4, so a little bit harder for them. Like, trying to jockey for that last position. And Lyon Gaming, unfortunately, now out of contention as well. So, honestly, out of INTZ and Chiefs, that's going to be huge for the race for 4th. And maybe that head-to-head victory is not going to do INTZ any favors in that regard.
Might not. And unfortunately, I mean, we've had a crazy series of games today. And I think consistently a lot of upsets, as you can see on your screen. Win for Supermassive over Hard Random. Saigon Jokers taking out the Chiefs. INTZ taking out Detonation Focus Me. Hard Random over Isurus. Chiefs over Lyon in a relatively confident win. Supermassive over Isurus in similar fashion. And Saigon Jokers keeping Lyon down in our final game of the day. So, I mean, it's been back and forth in this tournament overall. And some of these results weren't quite what was expected, but we're figuring out who the great teams are at this tournament pretty clearly already at the end of day 3.
I think that like we have a 3 at the top. Like we have Hard Random, we have Supermassive. I always do it as well. And Saigon Jokers. Then we kind of have Detonation Focus Me, the Latin American North and the Latin American South teams that unfortunately look like they're going to be out of competition for the rest of the playoff run. And then there's kind of the 2 in the middle that, you know, could go either way. But right now, if you're looking across, like 4th place is a scary position to be in anyway, because you're going to have to fight the best out of those 3 teams.
We've got 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
4 is going to be 4 is going to be absolutely insane. It's going to be really rough. And let's take a look at the standings as they are, because this is that 4th place we're talking about. 1, 2, 3, Hard Random, Supermassive, Saigon Jokers. Those guys more than likely going to secure their spots if they play as well as they did today. The question marks start as soon as we get a little bit lower. INTZ, Chiefs, Isurus most likely out. But we don't really know what to expect from tomorrow's games. They have one more game. If they can finish with a 3-4 record, it may come down to those head-to-heads, but Chief and INTZ, the ones that we have to look at, 2 games apiece tomorrow, hoping to make it out on top, hoping to secure that 4th place spot, and both these teams have to be biting their nails, have to be preparing as hard as they can for tomorrow's games. This is going to be rough.
So Chiefs have the easier side. Like, as far as, like, if you look at it, I think they have Isurus and Detonation Focus Me tomorrow, whereas INTZ, they're going to go up against Supermassive and someone else that I've lost off the top of my head now. I actually had before this, but they have a harder day tomorrow. So I think that is what, like, the race is going to come down to. As you said, if Isurus upset the Chiefs tomorrow and maybe look to win some of the head-to-head records against the other teams, they definitely are still within a fighting chance. But INTZ, their eyes are lighting up. They're this close to like doing CBLOL proud again and getting back into those playoffs and trying to win the whole thing one more time. But it's going to be a really bloody day tomorrow.
And despite the more difficult schedule, let's take a look at tomorrow's games. Let's actually take a look at that schedule. Saigon Jokers and Hard Random, really important to decide. I think essentially seeding at this point for the bracket stage.
Saigon Jokers they had. Whew.
Oh, Detonation Focus Me versus the Chiefs. That's that opportunity you said for the Chiefs to upset, to look to take on one of the teams that has been struggling. INTZ, though, they're versus Supermassive. That's pretty Supermassive favored, and INTZ are one of those teams fighting for 4th that need to find those wins. Chiefs versus Isurus. Once again, important for Chiefs, important for Isurus. Get those head-to-heads. Look to get those tiebreakers. Look to get that 4th place. Hard Random, Detonation Focus Me. Not the most important game, but once again, that blue shell potential for Focus Me to disrupt the seeding for Hard Random and really, quite frankly, to do Japan proud, to do their region proud coming into this tournament and take out one of these top seeds.
Yeah, exactly right. Lyon Gaming versus Supermassive in a very similar situation, but then INTZ versus Saigon Jokers. So 2 big playoff contentions there for the Chiefs and INTZ. Chiefs with Detonation Focus Me and Isurus. INTZ with Supermassive and Saigon Jokers. So they're playing 2 members above them. Chiefs are playing 2 members below them. It's going to be a very big last day and a very, very big last game of the IWCI group stages.
Yeah, and it's going to be, I think, overall a very difficult day, but you got to be crossing your fingers if you're a Brazil fan, if you're, an OPL fan, because these guys are on the edge. And Brazil has a hard path, no doubt. But even, the Chiefs have been great, right? They've been figuring out, they've been knowing what they want to play, but we've seen them slip up, and it has to be
many times.
Nerve-wracking.
100%. And once again, Brazil historically is a team that performs very well under pressure. Maybe INTZ are getting some criticism thrown at them, but I'm sure that they will rise to the occasion. And Chiefs, this is generally where the train falls off the tracks, Daniel. This is where we start struggling in international tournaments. So they need to learn how to buck that trend.
Yeah. Overall, I think I gained a little bit more faith in them after they managed to execute the
God one of us has.
The Alistair. They had a great Thresh performance today, and you can't shut them out yet. But INTZ, have been a consistent contender at IWCI, and I don't feel like we've always seen the same thing from OCE, unfortunately. This year, they're doing well. They have a chance to make it to the bracket stage to get the opportunity to play in best of 5. But I think, honestly, despite a harder schedule for INTZ, it's still very close for who's going to get that 4-point spot.
100%. And like as I said, you'll be a crazy person to ever bet against the CB lower region. But right now, like, it might not even matter because the other 3 teams sitting above them, the CIS, the Turkish squads, as well as Southeast Asia, just look so dominant.
All right, well, we've seen the schedule for tomorrow, and thank you so much, everyone, for watching the 3rd day of the IWCI group stage. We will finish our final day of round robin tomorrow before heading into the bracket stage, so make sure to tune in tomorrow. We will see you then. On behalf of myself, on behalf of Jake, and the rest of the broadcast, thank you so much for watching.